If you're a contractor and your estimates are off by just 5%, you could be losing $125,000 a year. Now, most of the contractors I talk with are actually inaccurate anywhere from 10 to 15%, and they don't really know because they don't know their numbers. In this video, I'm going to walk through how just a small estimating error compounds to losing thousands and thousands of dollars each year. Then I'm going to walk through the 3 systems that are necessary to create accurate estimates so you stop losing thousands and thousands of dollars just because of an estimating system gone bad. Now, estimating is one of the 4 levers that actually move the needle the most in your business. If you want the breakdown of this one that I'm going to talk about in the video and the other 3 levers, then comment leaks below and I'll send you the whole guide on the 4 leaks that are in your business and exactly how to fix them so you stop losing money and you can start scaling your business. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Liz Chism and I help contractors just like yourself scale their business without scaling their chaos and scaling it profitably. Now, like I mentioned, if you want to scale your business profitably, there are 4 leaks. So just comment leaks below and you can grab that document. Most contractors estimate in a bubble as if nothing actually bad happens once they get on the job site. So they estimate as if all their employees are going to show up on time, have no issues, and be super productive. They're going to estimate as if the material is going to show up on time, not damaged, and be ready to install by the right crews. They're going to estimate as if their subcontractors are going to give them no change orders and show up on time and have no delays. They're going to estimate as if everything is going to go perfectly according to plan. And so because of this, they have in their mind that things are going to go perfectly. And so once they get going on the job, they get another job coming in, and then they don't have time to actually do any kind of review, any kind of job costing. And so they're on to the next job and they have no idea that that 25% profit margins that they hoped that they would get on that job is really down to 5, maybe 10%. And then they wonder why they don't have money in their bank account. They're barely being able to pay themselves. They have cash flow issues, and it all comes down to estimating. Now, let's say your business runs about $2.5 million a year in revenue. So if you are off just 5% on your estimates, then that means you are losing $125,000 in profit every single year. Because as job costs swell, what gets cramped is the profit margins. It is you being able to pay for yourself. It is you having money in the bank account to be able to grow and scale your business. And so all of a sudden, that money gets squeezed because you've got to get everything else done in your business, and you've got to pay somebody a little extra and pay for overtime, and you're jumping in so that you can get that job done. And so by your estimates being off by just 5%, you're losing $125,000 a year. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, most contractors are off even 10 to 15%. And I tell them on the call, I'm like, okay, look, if we can just implement a couple of systems, we could up that and get you 15% more profit in your business. What does that look like in your business? That is hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's the exact same way that I was able to help a contractor go from 4% net profit to 12% net profit in just 10 months because we focused on the right systems that actually move the needle in the right way. So what are those systems? It's really simple. The first one is job costing review. If there's no feedback, if there's no looking at the numbers and facing the truth with how much you're actually making, because like I said, when most contractors I talk to, they're off by 10 to 15%, they actually don't know how much they're off. They just kind of assume based on the fact that they don't have money in their bank account that they're off 10 to 15%. Some of them are even off 20%. And it's the same systems that no matter where you are and how off you are in your systems, you have to do a job costing review. Now, again, this means that you need to have your receipts done. You need to have your budget in. You need to have your hours logged. You need to have all those things buttoned up so that way you can look at your numbers and go, wow, I didn't make that much money. What do I need to do differently next time so I make more money? The next one is having template-based estimating or standardized costs, something that you do every single time. So I was working with a painting company one time, and their estimates, when I started digging in and actually doing job costing with them, I figured out that they had good templates, they had good software, they had everything, but because they weren't doing the job costing review, they didn't know how to actually translate that to the standard process, because they're like, well, look, this is exactly how much everything's supposed to cost. So I don't know why I'm so off in my numbers. And so I was like, look, you're off by 5 to 7% on every single job. So just add 5 to 7% on your budget. That's it. Just put a line item, bump everything up by 5%. Do whatever it's going to take because you don't want to lose money. Sure enough, they bumped everything up by about 5 to 7%, depending on if it was commercial or residential. They did indoors versus outdoors. We figured out where they needed to be in that, all of that. And lo and behold, they started being profitable, like really profitable on all their jobs because they knew exactly where they were losing money and that they weren't actually using the right numbers. So you've got to have that template. You've got to go, okay, what do I need to do? And how do I standardize this so then I know how to tweak it? Most contractors just kind of go off of what feels right or what looks right or everything's in their head. And it's like, well, I think it's going to take about 3 days of labor. It's like, well, is it? What's the square footage going to say? So you need to have template-based estimating. This is going to save you in the long run because then you're not going to be the bottleneck of your business because you can actually teach somebody else the standards and the templates that you're using versus going, well, I just kind of look around and this is how much I think it's going to cost. It's like, no, that's not going to work anymore if you really want to scale your business. And last but not least is a trust building sales process. Now, most of the time when I tell contractors you need to go raise your prices by 5 to 10%, they balk at me because they're like, well, there's no way anyone's going to pay for that. Like, really? Watch it. Because every single time I've worked with a contractor and I tell them immediately, look, you're off by your pricing, go raise your prices. They raise their prices and they still get the jobs. And then they raise their prices again and they still get the jobs. And they raise their prices again until they hit that point of like, okay, now we're not getting quite as many jobs. Now we need to actually put in that trust building marketing system. So that way, as they build trust, they can actually close the deals that are higher than all of their other competitors. And I've seen it time and time again. Electrician goes into a place, $10,000 over the other person's proposal, and they still got the job because they put in the trust building systems. So that way the homeowner knew that they were getting the best contractor, not just a contractor that was going to maybe do the work and maybe get it done right and maybe get it done on time, but they actually built trust and got it all done. So put these 3 systems in place and I can guarantee you're going to make more money. Now, if you want the other 3 systems, so a total of 4 profit leaks in your business, then comment leak below, LEAK, and I will send it over to you so that way you can actually put the right systems in place based off of the leaks that are in your construction business and you can finally scale profitably.